Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum assalam.
Watching sports on TV, what's the Islamic ruling on that?
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Sports in Islam in general is something recommended because it means you're healthy, you're active, and these are meanings that Islam encourage. Also, sense of competitions, that's something also encouraged. It gives people aspirations, it gives them some kind of purpose, sense of purpose, and competitions, and all these meanings are great meaning, and sports is a great thing to do. That's number one. Number two, watching sports. In sports in general, under a general guidelines, it's called adat.
Right.
Custom or culture or things that people do part of their nature or part of their culture. And everything in this, under this umbrella is permissible, are permissible. Everything under this umbrella are permissible to do. So any kind of sports is allowed. Any kind of sport, when it's allowed to play, allowed to participate, allowed to watch, to cheer, to support. Okay? Unless there is a proof that this sport in itself haram. Okay? Or because something associated with the sports make that particular game not allowed. Let's say some sports are not allowed. Let's imagine if gambling is a sport, which is not. But let's imagine, or a sports like I do believe, sports like, putting people in cage and beating each other up. I do believe that that sports is not allowed because it is Islamically not correct. That's harmful.
You're talking about wrestling and boxing?
No, I'm talking about even more higher level than that.
Like what used to happen to the gladiators?
Like they put them in cage. MMA. And things of mixed martial art. They put people in a cage and they have to beat each other so badly. Some of these things are really very harmful and can be, cause a lot of harm to the person. Boxing as well, hitting the face. In Islam, we're not allowed to hit the face. Wrestling is allowed, because the Nabi is not allowed wrestling. But it's what we see today in these sports it's hitting the face, causing damage. The risk is so high in these kind of games, and I do believe that's not allowed. Watching is different than playing. النظر غير المشاركة. And the fuqaha differentiate between the two. So let's go back. So the sports, if it's haram in itself, or because of something associated with it, like for example, people bet on a sport. The betting is haram. Okay, people watch sport, participate in sports, but you know what? My loyalty and disloyalty and wala'u bara, love and hate based on, and this. That's became not allowed. Or I watch sports in the expense of missing salah. That's not allowed. So it's not the sports. It's your practice, is you missing the salah, what's not allowed. We have to differentiate that. Because some people said sports, tasud an dhikrillah, prevent people from dhikrillah. That's the problem of the person, not the sports. They say, hate the player, don't hate the game, So, sorry, but, so it is the problem of the person who watching the game, not the game itself. Yes, many people miss salah, that's not correct. Some of these sports in the break, like in basketball or in football, in the middle they have cheerleaders and people not maybe dressed the appropriate way. You're not allowed to look at the aura of these women. In this case, you should not look at this part. You basically turn it off or turn your face away until it goes away. And then you can continue. So what about men playing these sports, sometimes wearing shorts, like in soccer and, maybe in basketball. Basketball shorts are long in general, even in soccer. And there is a debate between the scholars in relation to the fakhd, the thigh, especially the area close to the knees. It's not considered part of the awra al-mughallaba. Even those who said it's awra, they said it's not awra mughallaba. It's the lighter type of awra. And I don't believe it is haram to look at the sports unless somebody staring with shahwa and stuff like that. That's with a desire. That's became haram because of this intention and that purpose of looking. But generally, when people watch sports just to enjoy it, just to cheer for it, it's like art. It's amazing how people play, scores, ability to coordinate their movement together, work as a team, the planning, and so forth. As long as you watch and you cheer and you maintain your salah, you don't do it excessively because it become the only thing you know in life. It is sad when we have young people, men and women, the only thing they know in life is sports and athletes. They know the history of every athlete, the date of birth, the information, how many three-pointers he made, and how many dunk he did, and how many scores, and what is his speed, and all this kind of things. But when it comes to knowing anything about Sahaba, about the Prophet ﷺ, even about Allah, is completely ignorant. And the Nabi ﷺ said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَبْغَضُ كُلُّ عَالِمٍ بِأَمْرِ الدُّنْيَا جَاهِلٌ بِالْآخِرَةِ. Allah hates those who know so much about the dunya and knows very little about the akhirah. And part of the akhirah is what will benefit you in the akhirah. So you know nothing about what will benefit you in the akhirah. That's not correct. With this, I hope with these guidelines, we can encourage people to be
what about
play sports. It's okay to watch sports, but it's not okay to waste your time, to miss salah, to create animosity between people based on sports, and so forth.
I mean, what about like watching the Olympics, with all these different games that they have? Some are women, playing these games, and, people watch these games. So, I mean, there are so many things that are involved in this, and people argue, oh, I'm just watching, the game, I'm just watching, the, like you say, the art and things like this, but there's a lot of haram that people see in these games.
I don't know about a lot, but for example, if you're gonna watch the diving, and the guy in a Speedo, and you're gonna, the art of us like twisting and going, yeah, for a woman and man not allowed to watch that because you're watching to the aura. But if you're gonna watch a woman do skiing, she's covered from head to tail, or a man, or one of these famous, or fencing, or
I understand. Some of them are really.
Some of them can be like, like we said, maybe running, very short shorts and stuff like that. You lower your gaze, and it depends on the
volleyball, and
Yeah.
I mean.
So if it's involved seeing haram, you should stop watching this particular one if you're not allowed to watch it. But if it's not, it is allowed. So the general rule, it is allowed unless there is a proof to say or a reason for this particular game not to be watched.
Okay.
Yeah, like for example, if you're gonna watch a volleyball beach game, yeah, you for a woman wearing like bikinis and like wearing bathing suits and playing sports, for a Muslim man or a woman not allowed to watch that. It doesn't matter.
For both men and women.
Yeah, because the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam forbade a woman to look at the awra of a woman. نهى أن تنظر المرأة إلى عورة المرأة. And obviously, if a woman not allowed to look at the woman's awra, a man is not allowed to look at the woman's awra as well.
Right.
And same thing for men. Not allowed to look at the awra of a man, and same thing for a woman to look at the awra of a man.
Okay. All right. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Barakallah.